Hello and welcome everyone to another Supplier T News podcast. On today's episode, we're gonna we're gonna talk about a few things actually. We're gonna start off just so you know, the Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council actually happened this week or last week, excuse me. So we're gonna talk about that, and we're also going to cover some other things as it pertains to diversity in America, as well as possibly touch upon, government, politics, and maybe even bring it back at the very end and talk about just things at large or diversity at large. But before I begin, as always, I want to introduce my podcast partner, Ray Hayes. So, Ray, thank you for joining us once again, or joining me.
No problem, man. What's going on with you?
Yeah, man, nothing much, just another Sunday. That's when we're, doing the podcast is a Sunday. It's not raining anymore in the Midwest or East Coast, so that's good.
Oh well, yeah, that's definitely a plus. It's a little chilly though, but I mean,
Yeah, it's not raining.
it ain't that bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're
so
right.
that's always a plus. So it looks, hopefully we're in May. So hopefully these, last little bit of April showers are done and we're, slowly moving to spring/summer. So, you know,
Mm, yeah, definitely.
yeah. So, let's go ahead and let's start out this podcast, which is a quick overview of the Michigan Minority Supplier Development Council. Now, or their conference. Now, for those who are not familiar of what a business conference is or a matchmaker or things like that, essentially what this conference is, which is held in Michigan, specifically Detroit, downtown Detroit, is it allows businesses like mine, so small and diverse businesses, to connect with mid and large corporations. So how I always explain it is imagine a job fair where, but instead of you handing out your resume to apply for a job or just to introduce yourself to a corporation, instead you're handing out your business card, or maybe you're handing out a some type of marketing piece of marketing, I don't know, item or whatever, or paper that just lists the capabilities of your business, or basically the products and services that your company offers. So that's essentially what it is. You go booth to booth, meeting different corporations, tell them a little bit about yourself, your company, and they'll let you know if there's any type of, opening or opportunities with that company, either coming up or in the next couple, maybe even years or so. The only difference that I would say when it comes to, a job fair and a business fair, if you will, are you have to understand, expectations, right? So with the job fair, you can expect to possibly get a job within 30 days of meeting them. I think that's fair, right? At a conference,
Yeah. Mm,
30 to 60 days, you can expect that. Whereas with the business fair, you're probably looking at, if you can if you can get a if you can win a contract within the year that you've met them, that's pretty good. That's actually very good. So
shit, it's very good.
yeah, that's very good.
Okay.
So
I
and
remember you said it last time. I mean, just
yeah,
the fact that
and we're
you following up and all that. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's different. I remember you
yeah,
talking about it last time on one of the podcasts before.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're talking about first time meeting. You just met this company for the first time ever. Now, for some people, it's a little bit different. Like, I'm sure if you have, a corporation that's probably doing $1 million worth of business, then, somewhere along the pipeline, somebody within your company has met them before. So there's, some follow up, or maybe uh, the company knows you and they know that you've done business with a ton of other corporations. So at that point, then sure, maybe you can expect something within 6 months, 3 to 6 months or so. But even then, like, you've already done the groundwork. So they already know your name, they already know your business name. So that's a little bit of a situation. But if we're talking about first time, companies never met you before, never even heard of you, you tell them about yourself, I mean, if you can get them within the year, that's fantastic. So, but let's talk about that review for the Michigan Conference. For me, it's a little bit different. I think this is my 6th or 7th time there, so I basically know, like, a solid 60-70% of the people there, maybe more, probably more, honestly. So the big
Dick.
people, huh?
I said, Dick. I mean, I didn't know you knew so many people. I remember you told me you knew a lot of people from the conference, but the
Yeah,
majority of the people there.
yeah. I mean, oh yeah, absolutely. Uh, in particular, when it comes to like the mid to large corporations, I probably know, like, I don't know, 80 to 90. No, not 90. Maybe 90. No, like 80%. So for me, it's a little bit
Wow.
different, right? So I'm just going to the booths and saying, hey, you know who I am or whatever. Has anything changed since I last talked to you? Do you have anything that you're looking for now that you weren't looking for, the past 3 to 6 months, et cetera. So for me, it's a little bit different. However, what I did notice is that for the exchange, or matchmaker, it was as good as always. I heard a lot of good things. I probably have to figure out how to connect with, like, newer organizations so I can figure out exactly how they feel about the conference. Um, what are some of the things that they're doing, because I've just been in it for so long that, like, I kind of I have my own set workings now where I don't have to do as much to market myself and get my
Okay.
name out there. But for me in particular, it went really good. I actually got a couple of meetings with corporations there for next week. So I mean, it went pretty good for me. Just some strategies for people out there who are looking to go to any upcoming conference coming up over the next couple of months is, make sure you talk to as many people as possible, because you never know. I can hear you breathing. That's funny.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Nah, it's funny.
My
But
apologies. I was so interested, so my bad, man. My bad.
nah, it's good.
My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah. Yeah. So for people who are looking to go to other, conferences coming up, the one thing that I would say is talk to as many people as possible, just because you never know where opportunities will present themselves. So, for example, one of the reasons why I got one of my potential customers now, the reason why I was able
Mm-hmm.
to connect with them is because I followed up with, you know, a company that, like, there's, like, next to no opportunity with me, but I'm pretty friendly with them. And every time I see him, I say, hey, make sure talk to him, see if there's any opportunity, just because you never know. And, tell him if there's anything new and exciting with my business. Uh, so I was just doing the same old thing that I always do whenever I see them. And then they were like, hey, I was talking to another company about you, and she introduced me to the other company, and now we've got a couple. We've got, depending upon how the next meeting goes, we got at least two meetings that I'm going to be following up with them with. So again,
So
talk to
basically, you never know how far that hate can go.
yeah, exactly. So talk to as many people, tell them about your business, be selfish, talk about yourself. That's what you're there to be. That's
Mm.
what you're there to do. Unless, I mean, maybe unless you might be there to, like, look for partners, then okay, it's a little bit different. But even still, when you're at conferences like these, be selfish. Tell people what you can do. Don't be afraid to talk about yourself and your company. Don't be
Mhm.
overbearing. No, understand when no means no, but don't be afraid to just talk about yourself. And not a lot of people are good at that. I remember when I first started out, I didn't like to talk about myself or my business. But what you just have to understand is that, I mean, that's the environment. And in order to obtain different opportunities, you got to be able to say, hey, this is who I am. This is my business. This is what we offer, and this is why we're the best organization suited to handle your needs. So that's point one. Talk to everybody. Don't be afraid to talk to as many people as possible. And then point two, and this kind of goes along with that, but don't be afraid to talk to people who you don't think would be interested in what you're possibly serving, because you never know. Um, so I guess that would just be more, promoting that. Uh, I guess point three would be make sure that you're prepared. I know that's kind of something that you would think would be an obvious one,
Right.
but it's not really. Some people just go in there, talk to somebody, a company that they're just meeting, saying, "Hey, whatever you need, we can do it." That's the last thing that you never tell people. You can do everything, because if you can do everything, you can do nothing. Um,
Mm.
so
Good point.
yep, and you know, and just make sure that, hey, just again, I just can't emphasize enough. Just tell people about yourself, introduce yourself, talk to as many people as possible, because you never know. So, but on those lines, the conference, again, it's my sixth or seventh one. It's always good. I pretty much know how to navigate the terrain at this point, so I essentially got what I wanted from it. Plus, I went
That's
in
good.
there. I've been connecting with other corporations as I go in there, which is another thing that you probably
Right.
want to do. But that takes years of experience, honestly, and understanding how to kind of put everything together to make sure that when you go to the conference, you're like, okay, I'm talking to these 5 or 6 clients, and we've already been talking for the past couple of months. But you know, that's just something that you kind of have to figure out, and it'll come. But the first time that you're there, I know people say have a plan, know who you want to talk to, and that's good too. If you want to do that for your first and specifically your first time, you can go ahead and do that. But
Hmm.
for me, I know this isn't the normal advice, but I'd say talk to as many people as you can that first time, and then go from there, and then plan that second
Basically,
and third time.
helps you get your name out there, right? I mean, as far as
Hmm.
talking to everybody,
Yeah,
not limiting yourself. Like, okay, I know this guy. When he comes back next year, they may not know everything about you, but they have a familiarity with you,
yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember like the first time, ooh, we probably talked to like we probably tried to hit at least 70% of the conference, at least.
Wow.
Like we
So
just
just
talked.
going around, just a
Yeah,
quick, hey,
yep.
so and
Hey, this is what
so,
we
blah
can
blah this.
do. Yep, this is what we can do. Any opportunity? Here's our business card. We were just hitting up everybody, uh, and
Okay.
then pretty much going from there. Now I don't. It's kind of a little bit weirder.
Mhm.
Uh, I wouldn't say I hit up 70% of the conference anymore, but I don't have to, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, because my network's so large that if there's an opportunity, specifically at this conference, like I'll know about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's just a little bit different. But yeah, overall, great conference. I would, you know, tell people, if you're, a minority-owned business, definitely get certified. And at the very least, if there's one event that you want to come to, it's definitely that conference, because you're going to connect with a lot of corporations, and it's a really good first start, in taking your business to the next level. So
Okay. That's good to know. Definitely good to know, James. I mean, it was good that you, in fact, you were able to network and you gained the opportunity from this conference. So, anybody who's listening to our conversation, definitely, Jamie. I mean, he may not know everybody, but he's definitely the things he's telling you is valuable. And me not, I mean, I haven't been to the conference, but just knowing what he's accomplished from going to these conferences and interacting with these different individuals and companies, he's accomplished a lot. So definitely, his advice is
I'm
it's
trying to, man. I'm trying to
yeah,
accomplish a lot more.
it's definitely valuable. It's valuable.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely trying to accomplish a lot more. But on that note, funny thing, I'm actually going to a. Are you familiar with Tech Inclusive? I think that's what it's called. I mean,
Tech inclusive?
yes, inclusion, tech inclusion.
No, what is that about?
Um, so basically, it's
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 a
it's an
conference,
initiative.
or you
Yeah,
just saying?
yes, it's a conference. Yeah, you could think of it as a conference. Essentially, what it is, it's a networking event where they go from. So originally, the entire purpose of tech inclusion was to promote, diversity and inclusion in the technology sector. But
Okay,
a couple of years ago, they would only go to like, I want to say maybe 4 cities. Like they went to like New York, Silicon Valley, like London, and I want to say like Sydney, Australia, or something like that. and they consistently like complain that hey, even though we're doing tech inclusion, we're not really getting a lot of diversity. So funny enough, last year I actually wrote a article, honestly a negative article about that, because I was like, how can you expect to help increase diversity in the tech sector if you're only going to 4 cities, and you're not going to like Atlanta, Houston, Chicago, Detroit. Like I was just like,
Right, man.
yeah, I wish I had the article, but like it's somewhere on Supplier News. But yeah, I went in on them. So literally, like this year is the first year where they're going to like a bunch of different cities, including Chicago, Detroit, and whatnot. And they're actually going to be in Detroit next week on Thursday. So,
Oh, perfect.
yep. So I was critical of them. So I've decided, I've already registered. It's a free event, and I'm going to attend, so I can see exactly what they're about and what they're trying to and how they're trying to promote. Because
Okay.
I think that's more than reasonable. I've been very critical of them in the past. Uh, I'm pretty sure I've wrote multiple articles about my dissatisfaction about what they were doing in the past. So now that they're coming to Detroit, I'm definitely want to check them out and see exactly what they're about. So that's going to be another conference that I'm going to be attending on Thursday. But I do want to get that out there, and I also want to show that their efforts, that they are trying to change, and they are going to different cities to try to promote and advocate for diversity throughout. So
Yeah, no, definitely. That's good you wrote that, because if you disregard those other cities, those people who are trying to get in the tech field or have ideas or want to promote their companies, they don't have that test because they don't have a conference like this. So I applaud you on that, Jamie. I didn't know you wrote an article about this.
yeah,
I don't remember it.
they actually sent me an email. So here it is. So 2016, they were in New York, San Francisco, and Austin.
Okay, the typical. So you got
Yeah, and
Silicon
that's it.
Valley, San Francisco,
Yep.
New York, big
And,
population.
and then Austin.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
In
Okay.
2017, this year, they're coming to Atlanta, New York, Detroit, Seattle, Minneapolis, Nashville, Sydney, Miami, London, San Juan, Durham, and Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's a big adjustment. I mean,
yeah,
compared to those 4.
yeah. So I don't know, maybe.
And then all those. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, what were you about to ask? I've been talking about it.
No, I was just saying that the thing is that all of those cities you named have a big diverse population as far as minorities and I mean, I know in particular Chicago with the growing Hispanic population just booming in Chicago. I mean, that's extremely beneficial. In Minnesota, you have the Somalian population.
Yeah, Minneapolis.
So yeah, Minneapolis, you have the Somalian population. So I mean, that's definitely great to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely check it out. I know that they're really big with entrepreneurism.
I'm gonna register for it.
I don't know. I think they may have already passed Chicago.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I think.
Whatever. Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. The reason why I got it, the reason why I knew they were coming next week is because they actually wrote an article and it posted to my Medium or whatever. So I got on my phone, and they were like, next week is Detroit, and I was like, oh. I immediately signed up that day. Like, I want to see this. So yeah. So like I said, I wrote a really critical article, and they actually hit me back and said, hey, we are expanding, and these are the cities. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. And and now they're gonna be in my city. So I'm going. So definitely want to talk about that. Tech Inclusion. Check it out. Check out their website, techinclusion.co. And they'll give you a list of their upcoming events. And if you want to register and check them out, definitely do that. I know they're geared more toward the tech side, but they also, any type of entrepreneurism, you know, whatever field you're in, advertising, marketing, finance, operations, whatever, I'd still say check it out, because regardless of what you're doing, you're going to need some type of tech. You're going to need to use the internet, right? If you want to sell, if you want to market your company, whatever. So yeah.
Right. And it's not going anywhere at all anytime soon. So,
exactly,
like you said, you're gonna some part of tech you're gonna need, whether it's the internet or app. I mean, it's something you're using something that involves technology.
Yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I'm gonna be there, and with no business cards, because
Why not? Why not bring your business card?
That's
Talk
a good
about
question. I don't know. Uh, I just want to.
You just want to get a feel and see what it's all about, and
Well, yeah. So
just take everything in.
yeah, I do want to tell people like always bring a business card. Do not follow my do not follow my lead on this. Don't follow my lead on this. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens because we'll see what happens. I want to transition a little bit from diversity reporting solutions to like supplierT.com.
Okay.
But there's still some things I kind of want to do with that.
So you're not ready to promote it, put it out there. Just
but at the same time, this is, I mean, it's not going to be, it may not be back to Detroit next year. So that's something I just got to think through. I probably, honestly, I'm lying. I probably have my business cards there. I probably have like, 30 or 40. So.
Are you going by yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
Okay. No, I was just wondering. Oh, maybe you're taking somebody else.
No, I'm not taking a date.
No, I don't mean it like that.
Like
a business partner, somebody.
Oh, nah.
A friend. I mean.
No, yeah, that I get what you mean. I don't
take a date.
Really,
oh, you're going.
Yeah, exactly right. It's my business conference. No, I am interested to see who's going to be there. I saw some people there, or because it has like a list of people who are going. So, we'll see.
Okay. Is it like a special guest? I mean, a special guest speaker or something speaking, or
yes,
anything like that?
Yeah. So they have keynote. Okay. They have keynote address. They have networking, or not networking. What do you call those? Forums. Keynote speakers talking about different types of different topics. Excuse me. So.
Okay.
Yeah, workshops.
Now they all are the keynote speakers from Detroit. Local, like.
I didn't actually.
Not sure.
Well, so I know that all of them are not, because the people who are like the founders of Tech Inclusion are going to be speaking. I mean, they're not from Detroit, so I know at the very least they are. They aren't. I'm not. I think some are, some aren't. I think it's just one of those. They'll have different workshops where it'll probably be like, hey, diversity and technology in Detroit. I'm pretty sure they'll probably be from Detroit, and they may have some other stuff as like, hey, I took my business from 0 to $1 million or whatever. I don't know where those guys are going to be from, but it's probably a mix. But no, good question. So yeah, Tech Inclusion.
I think it'd be kind of cool to. I hope they do have some of the keynotes from those local cities come out and speak to give their, like, okay, you have that feeling like, okay, he came from here, he's doing this, how can I support his local business, or how can I support him, being to the fact he's from this city or so. He's from the same city I am from. And maybe he can help you. You can become a mentor or so. Him, he or she.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I saw the names, but I didn't look up everybody's background. I honestly just looked up the people who created Tech Inclusion. Like, I looked them up for a little bit. So from Change Catalyst, like, I looked them up. And I looked up, like, there was a lady from Detroit who I think she works with like the city or the state. So I looked up a couple people, but not everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's cool though. It's definitely cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully it turns out good. Hopefully we get something from it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. So let's segue into our next topic, which is, what was it? Religion.
Overtime pay.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. Either or.
Yeah. We could do the overtime because that's something that we said that we were going to do. So Ray,
it's not too long.
Yeah, but Ray, we'll segue over to you because you're the one who wrote the article about the topic.
Okay. In regards to the overtime pay, the House recently passed a bill just last week. The bill is called the Working Families Flexibility Act. It basically, quote unquote, attempts to provide structure and flexibility for employees. Majority of Republicans all the Republicans backed the measure. The Democratic Party did not back the measure. basically employers are now able to give workers time and a half instead of paying them overtime pay. So, like I said, a lot of House Democrats did back the program because they quoted said that it gave employers too much power over the employees, but not allowing them to get their pay and a half. But instead, just okay, we can determine just give them what is it? I lost my train of thought. This wow.
Yeah. So let's.
Time off.
No. It's fine.
Basically,
So I'm actually.
hold on.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit.
Basically, the fact that you're not giving them pay and a half to give them a day off, and I definitely oppose to that because we all would like our extra overtime pay if we're working these late hours. And now it's always great to have getting some time off. I know in my job they call it comp time, but I would rather have funds if the funds are available. But go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah. So
sorry about that brain fart too.
Yeah. So you said that. Wait. So I'm a little bit confused. What's the difference between time and a half and overtime pay?
Say it again. I couldn't hear you.
What's the difference between getting time and a half and overtime pay?
Time and a half is basically, time and a half is when you're getting paid. You work 8 hours, but the next 9 to 10 hours is your regular time plus the extra time and a half.
Yeah, I got that.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that. So what's overtime pay?
Overtime pay is I got it mixed up because I had a brain fart.
Okay,
I got it all mixed up.
Oh, yeah,
it was a brain fart. Basically, the fact that employers can give workers. Sorry about that, but they can give workers time off instead of time and a half of pay. So basically, you're just giving them time off of work. So comp pay. I'm not giving you money, but I'm giving you extra days to take off work.
Are you kidding me?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's.
Wow.
This is a quote. I'm going to give you the exact quote from CNN. According to CNN, the measure backed by Republicans will let employers give workers time off instead of time and a half pay the next time they put in extra hours. So does that make sense to you? And Elizabeth Warren went on to say she went on Twitter to voice her concerns about the new legislation. She said it's basically a disgrace.
I mean, I don't see any benefit for this.
Yeah. You said what?
I mean, so I'm looking at this, and apparently there's okay. So apparently
basically employers can choose whether when they want to pay employees overtime now.
So what they're saying is that it's up to the employee. This is weird. So basically,
from what I was understanding, it's up to the employers. They have all the power now. The employers will decide whether they choose to give them time and a half or just a day off. It's not up to the employee.
No, so I'm looking at this Bloomberg.com. They're saying Republicans say the bill has plenty of worker protections, like a ban on coercing employees into choosing comp time, a guarantee that they be paid for any unused comp time within 13 months after accruing it, and a requirement that workers who ask to utilize their comp time get to do so within a reasonable period after making their so basically what that means is if they accrue a bunch of comp time, they either get paid for it or they get to use it.
Right. But you would definitely want your time and a half, correct? Or would you want just comp time for that?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who. I'm trying to read this to figure out who does the employees gets to allow companies to offer employees, so they can offer employees compensatory time rather than
pay time and a half. They can give them comp time, or instead of getting time and a half, it's up to their discretion.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. I think it is up to the employer.
Yeah, it's up to the employer discretion.
That is insane. Wow.
Yeah, you would definitely. I mean, I understand comp time. You may get some time from your vacation time for going out, but why not? I mean, you're only getting like maybe 2 hours of comp time. Instead of giving me 2 hours, give me my time and a half. That's extra money coming in my pocket. I work for it. I should be able to determine what I would like to choose. The employer shouldn't have the full say so.
So
if I'm working these hours.
So from a purely business perspective, this is actually very helpful. From an employee's perspective, this is disrespectful.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks for for the employee, but like you said, it's good for the employer.
Yeah, because if you have
as far
like a big project,
I don't have to pay them time and a half. I mean,
no. So, from what I was reading, you can do either or, right? You can if they're doing comp time, then you can pay them like 6 months after they've done it, or you can just give them, like you said, time off. This is
the bill is up in the Senate right now. A similar bill is in the Senate right now. It hasn't been
So I don't know, man. I'm looking at this, and okay, so apparently what it says, now I'm on another website. It says that a House bill would allow workers to agree with their bosses to take comp. That pretty much means they're gonna give you a contract. You got to sign it, and when you sign it, it's gonna say you're taking comp. Yeah, that ain't really that ain't really agree.
Yeah, you don't have any. Basically, you mean it seems like you have it. What they say. If I give you a contract and you sign it from the first day, what part is coming to that?
Yeah,
I determine that as an employer. I determine that. Hey.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Kind of sucks, but good. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't really fight it. I remember some guys I worked with.
Hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
No. Explain your story. Tell your story.
No, I was just saying that I know some of the guys I worked with in the past. Our employer wasn't. They weren't giving out any more overtime. They were giving out solely comp time. So if you worked, like I said, 8 hours, so you worked a full 16-hour day, instead of getting the 18 hours, I mean the extra 8 hours is paid time and a half, and then also double time. They just gave it to them for comp time. So I know they said a lot of the guys every Friday in the summertime they took off because they had so much comp time, and once they got a certain amount of comp time, our employer had to write them a check for that comp time. It was kind of interesting. I mean, I know. He said he went out of town one day and he had so much comp time. He got a check placed into his checking account out of nowhere, and he had to figure out where that money came from.
Huh.
But he didn't complain about it because he had over 100 hours of comp time. So just imagine getting a $2,000 check coming in your checking account when you're out of town in Hawaii or Jamaica or somewhere. That's perfect.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to.
But
there's a lot of unknowns with this new legislation.
Go ahead. What did you say?
No, I just said there's a lot of unknowns. First employees.
Well,
this might be a little bit too complex for me, honestly.
Hey man, that's the thing. We gotta just figure it out. It's a lot of unknowns, man. You look at the religious freedom executive order. There's a lot of unknowns with that. But hey, deal with it. Basically, take it as it is, and you'll find out what it means later on. You get the details later on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, this is This is wild, man. So, I mean, I got to know more about this whole comp time, overtime piece, but I mean, in theory, it sounds okay, but obviously in practice, this is not going to turn out very well for employees looking to get paid for overtime work. But for business, I will say this. I will say this much. As a small business owner, I am loving President Trump more and more every day.
And why is that?
I mean, things like this. I don't have to pay overtime now. I can just give you comp time. He's trying to cut my business taxes to 15%. He's cutting off healthcare, so if I have over 50 employees, I don't have to pay as much healthcare. As well as if they have pre-existing conditions, now I can just put them in a pool and they just have to pay more like by themselves as the individual. So I mean, or I can reach into that pool of $50 because 8 billion over 5 years isn't really much, and help offset some of my pay, which can also help me out as well. What else is he doing? He's decreasing regulations. So I mean, for me, as a tech company, that doesn't really matter to me. But if I'm in manufacturing, I mean that does a heck of a lot. He's making it so that other products coming into America will be more expensive. So he's making my products a lot more competitive in the American market. I mean, you can't help but love this if you're a business, if you're an entity. Now, if you are anyone else, if you're not a business owner and you're just a regular person,
but I mean,
what this means is everything's going to cost more. I mean, basically.
Like we said before, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, this is what we needed at the time.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we needed. So, I mean, you wanted a business owner to run our country, and he's running it like a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like
he's running it like a business.
Like, for example, we'll get to the religion one right after this, but I do want to make a comment about the healthcare.
Well, no. We can talk about let's talk about that one. Maybe another day, because I mean I know this one's kind of long, but that's maybe fine. Touch on that one another day.
That's fine. I do want to say this. It's funny. I read this quote about health insurance for the new Trump, and they were like, for some people it's really gonna decrease it. For example, if you're young, healthy, or if you're like rich and wealthy or whatever, like it'll drop your cost significantly, like a lot, by like possibly thousands of dollars. However, if you're however, if you have a pre-existing condition, you're older, and honestly you're unhealthy or poor, it's gonna raise your costs by thousands of dollars. And the quote was, so basically, if this only affects people who need health insurance.
Damn, man.
Because think about it, if you're young, healthy, and like you probably don't really need health insurance like that.
You think you don't need it?
No, but you feel what I'm saying.
Not right now at the very moment.
No, but you feel what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I feel what
like, if you're just a regular 23-year-old, don't really smoke, don't drink, just living an okay life. The reason why it costs us because you don't really need it. You don't really need it. But if you're like a 50,
don't ever go to the doctor's office. Don't get your teeth cleaned.
Yeah,
you good.
You good. Yeah, but if you like actually need it, then it's a problem. Like I thought that was kind of funny. Like it's kind of a good point. But anyway, so yeah, this is kind of a longer podcast. So thank you for sticking with us if you did. Yeah.
Have you real quick? Have you heard all the outcry about the new healthcare bill makes rape basically a pre-existing condition?
I mean, that's technically.
Have you heard about that?
I mean, that's technically that could be argued, but we're into technicalities now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that that's not being really fully explained with this new healthcare bill.
Well, because they don't know, right? The Senate. So I actually was reading a quote from I forgot the lady's name from Maine, Republican Susan something from Maine. She's a senator. She was like, they
Mhm.
asked her, now that the House bill has passed, what are you gonna do? They were like, honestly, we haven't even looked at it. We're just gonna write our own bill.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they were like, there's too many unknowns. They were like, the CBO hasn't looked at it. Like half the stuff, like we don't even know if we agree. We don't know what's going on with the pre-existing. So they were like, so she, at least that's what she said. She was like, we're starting from scratch because there's just way too many unknowns.
You had some of the House Republicans basically saying they hadn't read the bill, the full bill.
Yeah, I mean it's.
But then you had Paul Ryan on he was on Meet the Press this morning with George Stephanopoulos, and he said that the Obamacare when they introduced the bill, it was over 2,000 pages, and the new healthcare bill was, I think it was like maybe a couple hundred pages. So it's kind of crazy to hear that. Okay, you couldn't read the full Obamacare because it was basically so long. That's what he was basically saying. But you have basically the new healthcare bill when it's being introduced. It's definitely much shorter. So why couldn't they read it? Well, they were just trying to push it through.
I mean, yeah.
Without getting the CBO to look at it, just trying to get it pushed through, and we'll let the House determine everything.
I mean, this honestly, this is all politics. Trump needed to win, and
they gave him a win.
Yep,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he got to win. Now that the House passed it through, the Senate has to do something with it, and they're going to take a lot longer to do some things with it to in their eyes make sure that they get it right. We'll see what happens. Because at the very, I mean, we'll see what happens. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, guys.
But yeah, the bill that was passed, that was pushed through, like that you might as well say that thing doesn't exist, because if the Senate just said we haven't even read it, we're just going to start from scratch.
That's crazy.
I mean,
just start from scratch. Like, I mean, that's crazy.
Like, it doesn't exist. Yeah.
I wonder what Trump will say about that. President Trump will say about that.
He doesn't care. It'll be called Trump care. So he gets his win.
Oh, it will be called Trump care.
Yeah, more than likely. So he gets his win. Whatever this bill looks like, he'll get a win. And honestly, so will Republicans at large. Like they'll get a win, whatever this looks like, in their eyes, and which for long term, this won't be a win because it's healthcare and you're taking away an entitlement, and people are gonna, at the end of the day, people are just gonna be mad. And I mean, there's only two ways: either you cut the cost, which means that you have to cut people who are going to have insurance by millions, or you raise the cost, but then you just raise the cost. So now, Republicans are mad. Sure, it'll cover more people, but it becomes more expensive. Taxes have to increase, premiums have to increase. So there's no win with this.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you run on. This is what happens when you just run on like, oh, we have to get rid of Obamacare. Like, whatever the fix is, people are going to be pissed because you just promised them things that just aren't achievable. Lower your premiums and more people are covered. And decrease the amount of money being spent on healthcare. Like, that's not possible.
You know what you're saying, Jamie?
Yep. Well, hey, America. So, I mean, that's it for me. Congratulations to France. They just elected that Emmanuel guy as president. Guys,
that was crazy. Guys, crazy election.
39, bro. That's crazy.
Hey, I mean, we can do it, man. Maybe next year, Jamie.
Maybe next year. For what, America?
Yeah, Mayor of Detroit. No, Mayor of Detroit, man.
I'm not running for Mayor of Detroit next year. Are you kidding me?
That was all your dream. That was your dream, though, man. One day.
It might happen. It might happen when I'm like, 60. Who knows? But
you got to be 60. 35, 36, man.
35, 36, man. We'll see. But thank you, everybody.
Kwame got your back, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll get some money from Kwame. Exactly. Kwame and
well, go ahead.
yeah, Kwame and his gang. But thank everybody for listening to another exciting podcast with Supplier News. As always, like, subscribe. We gotta say this at the very beginning, man. We keep forgetting. Like, subscribe, comment on the video.
Well, there'll be a link at the bottom of the podcast too. So just do it from there. Just a link. I mean, you can subscribe to our social media pages.
For sure. So, again, thanks and have a good day.
Yeah, have a good Sunday.